Les interviews du doc, c'est maintenant sur Vinylestimes.
Markus, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. It's a great pleasure again to speak with you. And first of all, congratulations. This is the third record of Lazarus Dream. Wow.
Merci beaucoup et merci beaucoup pour l'invitation. Je parle un très petit peu de français, mais I have to switch to English, so at least I could show. I speak a little bit. I understood. J'ai compris no, I speak English. I understood almost everything you said, so thank you very much for the compliment. Yeah, and thank you for being invited. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Markus, so a new one is coming since 19th of January 2024, 1 week now. So I see a lot of review, a lot of feedback, a lot of people now discover everything about this imaginary life. So I think you are maybe totally happy, because when we're coming back with the third one, it's very difficult, but after you create everything, and we can speak just after with the band, you are totally, I think, agree, and I think it's more easily now to speak about this new one. Huh?
Yes, that's true, because in fact, when we did the first album during 2020, 4 years ago, we started because we wanted to finally record demos. Carsten Schulz, the singer, and me wrote in 1999. So when we started recording the songs were already 20 years old. We just wanted to record 3 songs. Of course, everyone knows these 3 songs became a complete album. We found Pride and Joy Music, a label, and released the album. It was never planned that Lazarus Dream will ever record 2 or even 3 albums. So the second album came along, and when we recorded the second album, of course, I wanted to do new things. I wanted to experiment with guitar synthesizers and explore some more styles, including them in our songs. But maybe the second album had a little too many experiments. So when quite exactly 1 year ago, I had several new ideas for new songs, I thought to myself, I might be focusing to come back to where we started. And that was melodic hard rock with a clear focus on good melodies and hook lines. So I tried to keep the songs shorter compared to the second album, and like to quicker come to the terms with what I want to do with the songs. So you can criticize the songs are maybe most songs are very short, but I think the positive thing is the listener gets a quicker way to get into the songs. And that might be the reason that the feedback so far is overwhelmingly positive, because I think it's easier to find your own way into the songs.
Ah, voilà, donc comme le dit Markus, alors on est sur le 3e album qui vient de sortir, hein, le 19 janvier sur Pride and Joy. On parlait bien sûr de la création de Lazarus Dream. Hein. Donc le premier album était sorti en 2020, il s'appelait Alive, et comme le dit Markus, ce sont des titres qui étaient sortis en 1999, 20 ans. Donc ils étaient dans la petite boîte derrière, et puis c'était prêt. Et puis c'était avec Carsten, ils voulaient faire un truc. On va reparler bien sûr du travail de Markus et de Carsten Schulz dans un instant, mais voilà, c'était entre eux, et puis ils avaient prévu de faire quelques titres, 2 titres, 3 titres, 4 titres. Bon, on va faire un album, et puis il est sorti en 2020. En 2022, ils sont revenus avec le Lifeline, qui est aussi un très très bon album, mais plus expérimental, comme le dit Markus, avec beaucoup de choses un tout petit peu plus longues, des titres plus longs. Et puis comme le dit Markus, il y a un an, donc en 2023, il a réfléchi à faire quelque chose. Il en a certainement parlé avec Carsten, on va en parler, mais de faire quelque chose de plus direct, plus court, avec moins d'expérimentation, des titres beaucoup plus rentre-dedans, même si on va parler d'un titre qui, moi, me marque beaucoup. C'est le dernier, c'est Empire of a Thorn, qui est vraiment un titre qui est aussi long que ceux d'avant, mais des titres plus rapides, des titres vraiment plus voilà, hard rock, du hard rock mélodique, rentre dedans tout de suite. Et comme le dit Markus, c'est peut-être pour ça qu'il y a eu beaucoup de bonnes feedback sur ce nouvel album, parce que justement, chacun y trouve son compte. Il y a des titres un peu plus longs, il y a des titres plus courts, il y a de la OR, il y a de la ballade, il y a du riff, il y a des titres, et puis il y a la voix de Carsten, bien sûr, là-dessus. Donc voilà, pour ça que cet album-là, il est un petit peu différent de ce qui a été fait un tout petit peu avant, notamment dans le Lifeline, qui était, comme il le dit, beaucoup plus expérimental, avec beaucoup, beaucoup de choses à droite, à gauche, qui étaient peut-être perdait un petit peu les gens. Markus, I just said with Lifeline, the real difference is clearly what you said. It's Lifeline. It's most of the song is very long, maybe 5 minutes, six minutes, sometimes seven.
Yeah.
And for Imaginary Life, we're just coming back with some good song, very short, and we keep at the end one song very long because it's clearly the. I would like to say the last song called Empire of Thorns is clearly everything that Lazarus Dream is putting on the music, the song, the guitar, the lyrics of Karsten, and I think it's a good chemistry, I would like to say, between the short song and one of the big song at the end. And I think clearly this is what you have on your mind in 2023, to have this such approach to create something with a little bit different than what you create in 2022.
Yeah, and of course, I have to add that originally we did not even want to release a third album that soon, and we wanted to take a break with Lazarus Dream. But in late 2022, I wrote an album together with the keyboard player, Joris Guibaud, a French keyboard player.
Yes, I know.
He's the keyboard player for Heartline.
Yes.
And for Devoid. And I contacted him because I wanted to write an album which is more AOR, more keyboard and synthesizer oriented. And even if I can play some keyboards, but I'm not as good as a keyboard player, just like people like Joris. So I contacted Joris, who played keyboards on one song on the previous Lazarus Dream album, and I asked him, would you be interested in writing an album with me? So of course, he was interested, and we wrote an album, and I gave the music of the complete album to Mark Bowles. And Mark Bowles wrote lyrics and recorded them. So my part of the songwriting of the album was finished at this moment in late 22, and in early 23, I sat in my home studio and had new ideas. And I said to myself, which band do I use these new ideas for? Because with Barnabas Sky at the time, I had like 10 songs floating around with different singers. So I didn't need new songs for Barnabas Sky. So I called up Karsten and said, Karsten, believe it or not, I have 5 new song ideas, and I think these are songs for Lazarus Dream. Have a listen to them, and if you agree, we might do another album, even if we did not originally want to. And the end, of course, it became an album. Yeah.
Bah voilà, comme le dit Markus, alors cet album, alors il faut, je pense que pour tous ceux qui découvrent peut-être la musique de Lazarus Dream, la musique de Markus cet après-midi, il faut aller écouter ce qui a été fait en 2020-2022. Et comme il le dit, donc il a travaillé avec quelqu'un qu'on connaît bien, Joris Guilbault, qui est le clavier de Heartline notamment, qu'on a beaucoup eu, et qui est un groupe qui monte et qui monte et qui monte et qu'on a envie de voir. Et puis, comme le dit Markus, il avait plein d'idées, il a fait un premier disque, il a parlé avec Joris, ils ont fait quelque chose avec Mark Bowles, et puis après il s'est dit, ouais, c'est bien, mais j'ai encore d'autres trucs qui viennent dans l'esprit, voilà, je travaille beaucoup, et puis j'ai des idées, bon, je vais appeler quand même Karsten. Et puis, vous avez compris que l'idée de fond, c'était qu'il ne devait pas y avoir un nouvel album tout de suite, c'était plus tard, ça devait être un peu en stand-by. Et puis, comme vous connaissez bien Markus, vous savez qu'il a d'autres projets. Il travaille avec Barnabas Sky, avec Winterland notamment. Donc, il a toujours des groupes avec des idées différentes, et chaque groupe a sa propre musique. Et puis, en fin de compte, là, il s'est dit, ouais, mais quand même, il y a des titres quand même très, très sympas, et ça serait bien qu'on les réécrive pour Lazarus Dream. Et puis, bien sûr, il a appelé Karsten, et puis il a dit, Karsten, ouais, j'ai déjà 5 chansons de prêtes, qu'est-ce que t'en penses, on y va, on n'y va pas? Bon, en fin de compte, ils y sont allés, hein, et puis voilà, il y a un nouvel album qui est sorti, qui est un très très bon album, beaucoup plus court, moins de 50 minutes. Il y a 10 titres plus un bonus CD qui s'appelle Color of the Moon. Tiens, ça me parle, et je vais poser une question juste sur Color of the Moon, juste pour taquiner un petit peu Markus. Markus, Color of the Moon, it looks like your dark side of the moon?
A little bit, yeah. Colors of the Moon is a very dark and heavy song, and I added it as a bonus track because I thought it's a very strong song, but it's possibly a little darker than the rest of the songs. And that's the reason why I did not want to include it with the other songs. Not because it's worse. It's not worse. It's a really strong song, but I think it's a little different from the rest.
Yeah, you're totally right. So je taquinais juste un petit peu Markus parce que le dernier titre, c'est un bonus qui arrive, c'est qui s'appelle Color of the Moon. Et il y a quelques morceaux qui font voilà, un petit peu penser à Pink Floyd dans cet album. Il y a la guitare de Markus, elle est très Pink Floydienne sur certains titres. Et puis, je voulais juste savoir si c'était sa manière à lui de faire son Dark Side of the Moon. Alors, comme il a dit, elle est dark et puis elle est un petit peu sur le côté parce que voilà, il y a ce qui est fait sur les 10 premiers titres qui est vraiment très très bon, mais il y a aussi ce titre qui valait le coup. Again, Markus, you work with your partner in crime, so I would like to say Karsten again. So it's a really good alchemy in so many years together to create something. And I think when you have some idea for new songs, maybe Karsten come with some vocals or some lyrics and we can build everything very fast. So what is now your chemistry? It's partner in crimes, brother in arms?
Well, I think both. Yeah, I mean, people need to know how our songs usually come to life. I have an idea. The idea does not need to be a guitar riff. People always think I only compose on the guitar. That's not true. Sometimes I have a groove in mind, like dum da dum da, and I have this groove. So I go to my home studio, I take some drum programming, and I have a drum groove. And then, of course, I take my bass guitar and take the bass and look what a bass player might play to this. And then I add the keyboards and the guitar comes last. So what I wanted to say with this is I usually try to write songs just the way bands would do that in their rehearsal room. And I try not to write too many songs on the guitar. Sometimes I have a melody in mind, like ding, 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 ding. And this is, you could play that with the guitar, but I don't. I play it with the piano. Right? I play the octaves, bling, 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 bling. And then I see which chords fit to that melody. And when I have a complete instrumental song finished, I send it to Karsten. I don't have an idea for lyrics and I don't have an idea for a vocal melody. He is completely free to make a vocal melody and write the lyrics. Because I think that when a singer is singing words he has written himself, it will be always better than if you give him lyrics and say, sing what I wrote. It will never be as much heart in it as if the lyricist is right, if the lyricist is singing his own words. Of course, that's what I do with Atlantis Drive, with Barnabas Sky, with any bands, Winterland also. The singers, I always permit the singers to write their own words. That's not always the case, you have to know, but I think that this is, in my point of view, the best way to do it.
Bah voilà, vous avez compris. Alors, je disais effectivement, on parlait de Partner in Crime, genre de Brothers in Arms avec Karsten. Bah, voilà, il explique, Markus, comment il crée leur chanson. Donc, quand il a une idée qui vient, il y a une mélodie, il y a quelque chose qui va croiser, il va créer soit le morceau au synthé, à la basse, voilà, il va rentrer la mélodie quelque part, il va se dire, ouais, tiens, ça c'est pas mal, je vais jouer un peu de batterie, et puis il va faire le morceau complètement, et comme il le dit, il va partager juste après toute cette musique qu'il a fait à Karsten, et il dit à Karsten, bah voilà, tu mets tes lyrics, tu fais ton chant, on va mettre la mélodie, enfin voilà, c'est complètement open, et c'est comme ça que les morceaux se créent. Depuis le début, pour plein d'autres groupes, hein, comme le dit Markus. Et puis, ça permet aussi, et je suis complètement d'accord avec Markus, que le chanteur crée sa musique, ses titres, et c'est beaucoup plus facile après pour donner de l'énergie, du volume, du poids à la chanson, quand c'est plutôt le chanteur qui a créé ses propres parties de chant, et non pas quelqu'un qui vient imposer un titre, même si, comme le dit Markus, parfois, ça arrive qu'il y ait quelques passe en disant tiens je ne ferai plus ça, mais ça reste quand même quelque chose qui est très interne à Karsten. Markus, we have of course maybe a lot of person remember the last interviews that we have together. We speak about Kaiserslautern most of the time, and now we have a particular guest who is coming on guitar, who is playing for the song My Imaginary Life. This guy is called Stephan Lill, so I think it's playing in Vandenplas, who is located in Kaiserslautern. So it's It's crazy, no?
Well, yes, and even more crazy is that Stephan Lill was my guitar teacher. So I learned to play the guitar in 1988, and my teacher was Stephan Lill of Wandenblas. And I, to be honest, for Imaginary Life, I had no idea how to play a cool solo. And then I told Carsten, hey, on the last album, we had Derek Sherinian of Dream Theater as a guest and Joris Gibo of Hardline. Which guitar player do you think I could contact? And I had names in mind like George Lynch of formerly of Dokken, or Brooke St. James of Taiketo, these kind of people. And then Carsten said, why don't you ask Stephan Lill? You know him. He was your teacher. And I was like,
Oh, yes.
that's a good question. And the same day I called up Stephan Lill because he lives only a few kilometers away, and said, hey, blah 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 blah, would you be interested? And he said, I really thought you never ask. So he was at least he was giving me the impression that
Waiting
of
something.
course he was really into it, and he was wondering why I hadn't asked him before. So yeah, you say in German, you say Kreise schließen sich, which means a circle comes to an end, like a circle is closed. And of course, it's quite funny. And the funniest thing is, before he starts his solo, I do a very short tapping part, and I only did that because when I came to his house for the very, very first guitar lesson, he asked me, what can you play? And really, the only thing I could play on the guitar, even before I had my first guitar lesson, was tapping. And quite complicated tapping, like, and he was like, okay, what else can you play? And I said, nothing. And he said, but that's a joke. And I said, no, that's the only thing I can do, but I wanted to play guitar to impress people, and that's why I can play this. So that is a hidden thing on the album. Before he starts his solo, this tapping comes right before his solo.
Bah voilà, vous l'avez compris. Alors, pour ceux qui étaient là la première fois quand on avait échangé avec Markus, c'est toujours un grand plaisir de discuter avec Markus. On avait parlé de Kaiserslautern parce qu'on avait parlé football, on avait parlé de la famille Kunz, la première interview. Là, on parle de la famille Lill. Voilà.
Yeah.
Donc, comme l'explique Markus, Stephan Lill était son prof de guitare. Et puis, il cherchait à rajouter un invité. Comme il disait, il y avait eu Derek Sherinian, entre autres, Joris sur l'album d'avant et plein d'autres. Et puis, on cherchait à trouver un guitariste. Et puis, Carsten lui a dit, appelle Stephan. Call Stephan.
Yeah.
Et à la fin, il dit, oui, c'est pas bête, je vais l'appeler. Et puis, en fin de compte, Stéphanie, après avoir discuté un petit peu, il lui dit, j'attendais que tu m'appelles parce que je voulais vraiment faire un truc avec toi. Et puis, comme le dit Markus, il a découvert la guitare. Il faisait du typing au début pour faire le gars, ouais, regardez, je sais faire de la guitare et tout. Il a appris à jouer. Et puis, donc, la petite boutade sur ce morceau, My Imaginary Life, c'est que il y a le début du typing avec le solo de Stephan Lill de Vandenplaats. Alors, comme je disais, il y a vraiment un gang à Kaiserslautern, hein, parce que voilà, on a la famille Kunz, on a la famille Pfeffer, on a la famille Lill. Voilà, il y a quand même des bons artistes une nouvelle fois à Kaiserslautern, et c'est toujours un plaisir d'écouter la musique de Stephan Lill. On attend bien sûr des nouvelles de Vandenplaats. On en aura certainement, bien sûr. One another question before we ending, Markus, because we can talk a lot during a lot of hours. And again, this is my questions each time when we discuss together. Do you think you can share your music on stage at what moments? Because you create a lot of music, but the idea is maybe to share your music with the band, with Carsten again, with you on stage, and the rest of the band, because you have so many good songs. The idea it would be to have maybe a couple of gigs in your country before, and of course I can take the TGV to go you at Kaiserslautern and to see you on stage, by the way. And do you think now with 3 albums you have the possibility to share maybe a couple of minutes on stage?
Well, not only, but also for this reason, we have a regular drummer, Markus Herzog, who came new into the band, because on the 2 albums before, Markus Kuhlmann was only a guest, but Markus Herzog is a regular band member. So that is really meant to show that if someone wants to book us for a gig, I'd say a tour would probably be very hard to realize. But I mean, a gig at a festival would be possible. Of course, it depends on the financial offers, because I play guitar, synthesizer, and bass on the album. So that means I would need a second guitar player, a bass player, and a keyboard player, and I would have to pay them, of course. And then you have the other band members. And if you need a rehearsal space to rent, of course, we talk about at least 4,000 to 5,000 euros for a gig. So if someone offers that sum, it will be possible. But if not, unfortunately not. But to say, but I really miss the stage, because I love going on stage. And I was just playing with, I don't know if you know that. Do you know Disperia? Jürgen Walzer's Disperia. I played some solos on their albums. Jürgen Walzer I've known for over 30 years. He's from Kaiserslautern too. And when they play live here, usually I'm invited as a guest for a few songs to play with them, and also the solos. And I really enjoyed that. Very shortly after Christmas, a few weeks ago, we played live. So at the moment, that is unfortunately my only way to get on stage, and play the wild man on stage, which I really love.
For bass player, I can play bass. For keyboard, you have Joris. The second guitar player, you have Stephan. So in fact, you have the band.
That's right. If I think twice, possibly.
Voilà, donc on disait, comme je le dis toujours à Markus, et comme je l'ai dit la dernière fois, ça sera un grand plaisir de pouvoir voir le groupe sur scène, parce que il y a quand même 3 albums maintenant, il y a quand même des très bons titres dans ce nouvel album, Imaginary Life, notamment le Beauty Among the Runes. On n'a pas parlé de My Prayer, voilà, il y a des très très bons titres sur cet album, et de pouvoir les écouter sur scène, ça serait un bon moment. Et comme le dit Markus, peut-être un gig, 2 gigs, si quelque chose peut être monté en Allemagne, s'il y a effectivement des bonnes conditions, il faut aussi pouvoir payer les artistes, ça serait intéressant de pouvoir le faire. Après, c'est très très compliqué, comme tout le monde le sait, d'avoir des grandes tournées. Bien sûr, ça serait très compliqué, mais d'avoir quelques gigs en Allemagne, de monter à Kaiserslautern pour aller voir Markus et toute l'équipe, ça serait, moi, je serais le premier à y aller. En fin de compte, on va toujours suivre ça. Markus, by the way, you speak French. You're speaking now with a Frenchman. You play with a guys with called Joris, but for this Imaginary Life, you have a fantastic artwork made by Stan Decker with another Frenchman. So in fact, why you cannot be coming in France, Markus? It's crazy.
It's not even too far from here. People maybe do not know that Kaiserslautern is like 1 hour from France.
Yeah.
Last weekend I was in Saarbrücken, and from Saarbrücken it's only like 10 minutes to France.
Yeah.
Years ago we went to France in Forbach to Cora to buy good food, because your food in France is way better than in Germany. So we used to drive to France and buy I don't know what the English word is, Elsässer Flammkuchen and pâté and all that stuff with lots of calories. I love French food.
Voilà, donc on va juste revenir un petit instant sur la pochette, mais effectivement, voilà, il habite Kaiserslautern, c'est à côté. Pour ceux qui veulent regarder sur la carte, vous allez sur Google Maps, c'est à 1 heure de plein de villes en France. Et puis, alors sur le ton de la boutade, je lui disais, oui, il travaille avec Joris, il parle avec moi. Il y a bien sûr le travail de Stan Decker sur cette pochette. And where is coming the idea of the artwork with Stan, Markus? Because it's a huge one. It's clearly some of this artwork like this, it's clearly for me like a vinyl. I would like to see this one in vinyl, in fact, because it's an huge artwork, and most of the time it's better to see some fantastic artwork, not only on CD, but on vinyl, or maybe on picture disc, as you know.
I have heard that before, and I would love to have that too. You don't see, no, you see maybe here, you see the first Lazarus Dream album is hanging on my home studio wall right behind me, and I want to have the Imaginary Life cover that big behind me too. The thing is that vinyl will only be possible from a financial point of view if you can be sure that you will sell at least 1,000 units. And that's even for established bands is not always a certainty. So with new bands, it's almost impossible to do vinyl pressings because under 1,000 units, you will have way more costs than income.
And you lost some money, by the way, because we keep many vinyl at home, and of course you cannot share on stage because we cannot play a lot. So it's just some fan like me, we buy the vinyl, but not a lot. Ok. Comme je disais, donc la pochette, elle est faite de notre ami Stan Decker une nouvelle fois, elle est fantastique. Je vous réinvite à la regarder. Et puis, moi, j'aimerais bien la voir en vinyle, celui-là, parce qu'il est beau. Voilà, moi, j'aime bien toucher tout ça et j'aime bien le vinyle. Et comme le dit Markus, c'est compliqué, il faut au moins en avoir 1000 exemplaires pour pouvoir s'en sortir et puis pouvoir le partager avec tout le monde. Pour ceux qui nous rejoignent, on est avec l'excellent guitariste Markus Pfeffer de Lazarus Dream. On parle du nouvel album Imaginary Life. Alors, il y a 10 titres plus 1, donc The Sweetest Chaos qu'on a écouté la semaine dernière. On n'écoutera pas celui-là, mais on écoutera d'autres titres de Lazarus Dream aujourd'hui. Vulture Cries, Rebel Again, My Imaginary Life, avec un super solo de l'ami Stephan Lill, dont on vient de parler. Un autre fantastique titre, Beauty Among the Ruins. Écoutez ce morceau, il est vraiment très très bon. Disaster Love, Vertigo, My Prayer, Drink My Blood. Maybe I'm not sure you can drink my blood, Markus, but
it's a song about vampire. It's really about vampires.
Yeah, clearly. And of course, you speak about Color of the Moon, but I would like to finish with one word about Empire of Thorns. Again, Markus, I listen all your records since the beginning, and I think Empire of the Thorns, it's one of the most fantastic songs that you have created. Can you please just explain to the listener what is behind Empire of the Thorns? Because it's a long one, it's more than 7 minutes, and you play everything. You started very cool. We have some great riff guitar. The lyrics is fantastic. The songs look like a mix between many things like Dokken, Taiketo,
Queensryche,
Michael Bornman, everything. And it's clearly a mix of all your maybe particular thing, but it's clearly a Lazarus Dreams. So what is behind this Empire of Thorns, Markus?
That song was one of the first 5 songs I had for Carsten, and I have to say that originally this song was meant to be the opener, the first song of the album, not the last one. And then our label said, and I think they were right, they said it's a strong song, but it is not representative of the other songs. It sums up what happens in the other songs, but starting the album with that song is not a good idea. So then I said, but I could not place that song in the middle of the album. It would not make any sense. If we don't put it first, then we put it last, because the song starts with an intro and it ends with an outro, quite a long outro where I put all the keyboards out and you have this double bass, and it gets less and less and less and less, and then you have the fade out. It's the only song with the fade out at the end. So that's why I placed it at the last position of the album. But to be honest, while we were recording and while I was writing new songs, I was really questioning myself if it is really the right song for this album, because it's more progressive than any other songs. So if you say for you it's a perfect Lazarus Dream song, I'm glad that my worries didn't make any sense, because I was thinking maybe it's not the right song for Lazarus Dream.
You are not agree.
Good. But you see, of course, I wrote 150 songs in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And with every song, I need to decide, is that a Lazarus Dream song? Is it a Winterland song? Is it a Barnabas Sky song? Or like with Mark Bowles, I didn't question. I wrote the songs for the project with Joris, but I have another project with Rob Lundgren, the singer of Mentalist, and I write the songs especially for him. But any other idea that comes to my mind, I always have to ask myself, which is the right band or project for it.
Voilà.
I was having doubts. I was really having doubts concerning this song.
Bah voilà, donc on parlait d'Empire of the Thorns, c'est un morceau qui fait plus de 7 minutes. Je vous invite à le découvrir. Voilà, c'est un très beau morceau. Il y a beaucoup de choses, c'est très progressif, hein. Moi, je l'ai trouvé. Alors, moi, voilà, c'est mon ressenti, bien sûr, hein. Je disais à Markus, pour moi, c'est un très beau titre avec plein de choses dedans qui représentent Lazarus. Il me dit non, c'est pas tout à fait ça, parce que pour le coup, c'est une chanson progressive. Et comme il l'a dit au début, le label ne voulait pas le mettre au début, parce que la chanson est vraiment un peu différente du reste. Et puis, Markus a dit, bah, on va pas la mettre au milieu non plus. Donc, elle est vraiment à la fin avec le bonus derrière. Moi, je vous invite à le découvrir. Et puis, comme le dit Markus, voilà, c'est un titre avec, il y a beaucoup, avec beaucoup d'atmosphère à l'intérieur. C'est vraiment un titre très particulier qu'il faut écouter plusieurs fois. Moi, j'adore ce titre. Et donc, je l'ai partagé avec Markus pour lui dire que c'est un très bon titre. Et moi, j'espère que vous allez prendre plaisir à écouter ce titre et tous les autres parce qu'il y a vraiment des très, très bons titres. C'est un très bon album, une nouvelle fois fait par Markus, Karsten et Markus. Je rappelle juste le line-up. Donc, Karsten Schulz au chant, Markus Herzog à la batterie, Markus Pfeffer qui fait la guitare, la basse, le synthé, et puis le guest sur cet album, bien sûr, Stephan Lill, qui joue de la guitare sur le morceau My Imaginary Life, qu'on écoutera juste dans un instant. On va remercier, bien sûr, Markus maintenant. Markus, again, I would like to say thank you so much for your time this end of afternoon before we moving to the evening. Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much to create this new one, and I'm waiting maybe another one in 2025. I don't know if you have a lot of ideas. I'm pretty sure something is coming from the camp of Markus. I don't know if it's coming from Lazarus or Barbara, Barnabas, or something like that, but we follow each together on Facebook, so I see everything, so I can see if something is coming. Before Markus, do you have some words for the French listener? Maybe we discover Lazarus Dream today with this new record, Imaginary Life?
Well, what can I say? Well, yes, if anyone hasn't heard our music before, just go to YouTube or to Spotify, listen to the songs, and I hope you enjoy what you hear. I think that anyone who likes rock music or heavy metal with a melody will find things that they can like with our music. I think it's very, very, I say, easy to consume and easy to like. Just try it out. That's all I can say. And watch out for my next project, because that will be released in summer. The next one is Atlantis Drive with Mark Bowles and Joris Guibault. It will be on Pride and Joy Music in summer. Atlantis Drive.
So I can reinvite you to speak about this new record with Mark Bowles.
Right.
Vous l'avez compris, donc comme le dit Markus, si vous voulez découvrir de la musique rock qui fait du bien, vous voulez découvrir plein de choses à travers la musique, bah, écoutez, allez sur Spotify, YouTube, achetez le CD, achetez le CD. C'est la meilleure des récompenses pour Markus, pour Karsten et pour Markus. Voilà, découvrez la musique de Lazarus Dream, tout est disponible. Le site Facebook, c'est très simple, c'est Facebook/Lazarus Dream. Vous allez tomber sur la page, vous pouvez aller découvrir tout l'univers de Lazarus Dream. On remercie une nouvelle fois Markus, parce que moi, j'ai toujours un grand plaisir à échanger avec Markus. On chatte souvent sur Facebook et on est très content d'échanger un petit mot, un petit bonjour et une nouvelle fois, plein de bonnes choses. Markus, again, thank you so much. Before we ending, again, Happy New Year's for you and your family. Cross finger for this Lazarus Dream, for Mark Bowles and for the rest. And I hope to see you in Kaiserslautern or in Paris. And
on stage.
For sure, we can take a beer together and speak a lot about music. Thank you so much.
Most definitely. Thanks very much for the invitation. Merci beaucoup pour l'invitation. It's always a pleasure. Thanks a lot.